You can learn a language only if you live abroad. Well, I'm the living proof this is so wrong and such a toxic excuse you're telling yourself. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, the perfect place for language learners and lovers who want to learn a language to be free to live anywhere they want. My name is Diretta, I'm a language coach, and today I want to share with you something a little bit more personal. I want to tell you the story of how I reached the C2 level in English without ever going abroad. I hope this story will inspire as many of you as possible and burst one of the biggest myths about language learning. You can't learn a foreign language without going abroad. So wrong. Let's go. I'll be very honest with you. When I was a kid, I sucked at English. Big time. I still remember how frustrated I was when I was 12 during grammar tests. I just couldn't get grammar. I still remember one test in particular. It was about the use of do and does. I don't even need to tell you the grade I got. Plus, I was a very shy and insecure girl, and speaking was pure hell. So after every English test, I remember I would just get back home feeling frustrated, feeling like I was hopeless. I had no idea how to fix the situation, especially because I didn't like English. But something changed when I was 13. Suddenly, English started becoming not only a subject I was really good at, but also what made me feel so confident. So, how did that happen? Short answer, I started reading stories in English. Not graded books, I mean authentic material written by native speakers. And not because I wanted to improve my English, but because I wanted to read those stories specifically. Real answer, I was a big fan of a very popular TV show in Italy at the time, Gilmore Girls. I loved it. I spent so much time watching the episodes. And I needed to know how the story would go on. I just couldn't wait. And I found out there were stories on the internet called fan fictions about TV shows, actors, singers, and so on. So I started reading fan fiction about Gilmore Girls in Italian first, but I needed more. And more meant only one thing. I was supposed to read them in English. Curiosity pushed me to read 1,000 stories during that summer. So is that how the story ends? Of course not, because something even more magical happened during my teenage. So stay with me, keep listening. As I mentioned before, I was a very shy and insecure person. And teenage is incredibly hard for this kind of people. You experience different emotions, different feelings. 1 minute you're happy and then the next you're angry and depressed, but you don't tell anyone. So no one really knew what was going on in my life. Never told my family or friends how I was feeling because I was just too scared they would judge me instead of listening and helping me. So I just bottle up my emotions, my thoughts, holed up in my room, watch tons of TV shows, listen to music, sing, and write my secret diary. Reading invented stories, singing, writing were basically the only ways I had to deal with all of those repressed emotions. And of course, the TV shows and music I loved were in English. Plus, I was very scared my parents would find my secret diary and read my thoughts and my very deep secrets. And the only thing I could do to prevent this from happening was writing in English. So one day I would download English scripts to a new episode that hadn't been released yet in Italy, translate them and watch the episodes while reading the script. The day after, I translate the lyrics to a Placebo song and write how I had felt during the day, all in English. Every day I was doing speaking, writing, reading, listening, grammar, pronunciation and vocabulary activities without even realizing it and without forcing myself to. All of a sudden, all my free time revolved around studying English, and I couldn't wait to use it with someone because I felt good. I felt more confident. I felt a completely different person when I spoke in English. It was the only thing that made me even able to speak about my emotions. This is true now too, actually. If I had recorded this video in Italian, it would have been so much harder. Unfortunately, English tests at school were the only times I could get to speak and write in English, most of the time about literature, so nothing really conversational. This is exactly why I decided to find people online I could chat with or speak to, and even started doing video calls. At first it was incredibly hard because I wasn't used to having conversations in English. I was scared of being judged for my mistakes, of course, but then it became totally natural And above all, I enjoyed it so much. So by the time I went to university, I was probably at a C1 level. And I say probably because I've never been interested in labeling my language skills with a letter and a number. I simply don't care because that letter and number cannot define what you can or cannot do in terms of language skills. Only you know that. And also because studying for a test makes me nervous and bored. Plus, I didn't feel the need to get any kind of certification until I decided to teach English. And I decided to aim really high and get a C2 English certificate. The first time I set foot in England was 3 months later. Up until that moment, I had never been to an English-speaking country. And I remember that when I told my professor this story, he told me he had met only another person like me in his life. And we had one thing in common. We learned English by immersing ourselves in the language, doing things we like, not things someone else told us to do. I improved English because I used it as a tool to reach other goals. Being able to read that story because I was incredibly curious, being able to sing that song because I loved it, writing in English because I didn't want anyone to understand. I never wanted to become a fluent speaker per se. I didn't care about the level. I just wanted to understand the resources that I was using to be able to speak about them, because it simply made me feel good. This is exactly what I'm doing right now with Icelandic and Russian. And also when I'm teaching my students to become better speakers, to explore themselves, understand what their specific goals are, and ask themselves if what they're doing is something that makes them feel good, something they consider useful, something they need. If you don't understand all of these things during your language journey, you'll probably be inconsistent, maybe you will quit. Even if you have the perfect weekly plan and you keep using techniques to increase your motivation. So, is this the end of the story? Yes, and I truly hope it inspired you. I really want to know if you have a similar story as a language learner, or if you've ever thought about language learning this way. And of course, if you have any doubt, feel free to write them in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram, and check my other videos about language learning. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.